So I'm going to start this video by calling us all in to take a nice big inhale and exhale. So let's do that real big deep breath. Inhale and let it go. Exhale. Just feel everything just settle. And I think the energy of that breath is exactly what is going on for each and every one of us right now. It's very big and deep what we're going through. And you know, I think basically the tone of this video is all for me to share with you is all about grief, guilt, sadness. And I'm going to explain to you why, because, you know, we have been through a monumental shift. The 22nd, 22/2/22 was such a powerful day for most of us. All of us. It was really expansive. It was amazing. And everybody felt it. It was on the next level, right? But then for me that week, let's talk about that day. I actually felt the separation. It was a very, very strange, but very clear feeling that on that day, I was like, oh, I could actually feel the reality split. Okay. So if you want to call it old paradigm, new paradigm, if you want to call it the old falling away, the new earth landing, and it happened within me. I could actually feel it. I had this really strange kind of almost like, dreamy feeling of just something separating and going, and I was like, oh, it's happened, you know, and that was the splitting of realities. You know, we speak about separation and duality and all that kind of thing, and like how everything needs to be one, but in this case, the separation of dualities, the breaking away, separation is good, right? Because we're separating from the old paradigm and everything's falling away. Which brings me back to grief. So a lot of us had very, very strong physical playouts that brought on that grief. A lot of us did. And I experienced on the 22nd, such expansiveness. And then the next day I found out that my very, very dear friend from my medicine ceremonies and we were so soul connected, so soul tribe connected. She passed on the 22nd and I only found out on the Wednesday. So of course I had this massive expansion. I felt her because she made me this beautiful dream catcher and she was with me, but I didn't know that she had passed. I was just thinking about her a lot. And then the next day I found that she had moved through that portal, and part of me was just like, oh my God, what a way to exit. That is so rad and amazing. She is a very, very powerful light being. She'd done her work on this planet and she surfed out, like coasted out on the 22 portal. And I kind of had like, well, of course you did. That was just a badass exit moment, like amazing. And then another powerful medicine mommy that I had also did the same on 11/11. And, you know, it's only when you're at that level that you can actually just surf out on those portals. And those two beautiful divine feminines, like, were certainly at that level. So that was that side of it, where we all understand that, like, you know, it's just dropping the body. Everything is infinite, you know, death and rebirth and so on and so on. However, the humanness came right in. And I was very, very, very grief-stricken. And then I tussled with the fact of just like, well, hang on a minute. Do you know what I mean? I'm supposed to know. I'm a spiritual being. I'm supposed to be like, okay with just coasting into death because death is actually rebirth, But then there was this human part of me that was just like so grief-stricken. And as I went throughout the week, it started to expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I felt that it went beyond my friend passing. I felt like she gifted me this actually just to help me deepen my, gifted all of us actually, deepen my relationship with this understanding of dropping the body and moving on. But then I expanded into much deeper things. I started to mourn that my children were grown now and that those years they're gone. Do you know what I mean? So I was going through all of this loss. I was mourning, you know, so many endings, you know, having to sort of like step back from people, places and situations and going, I'm sorry, I can't travel with this anymore, you know, and it was just falling. And then I was taken to a very, very sore part of my childhood where being like a real starseed, you know, what was going on around me and being very, very sensitive, which I think all of us have had, the grief from not being like protected and held in the way that I needed to be. And I think, like I say, that's many of us, because we come into this world and it's quite boom, and that's when we close down. all of this grief started coming up from my child's self of just like how traumatized she was being young. So it just went on and on and on and on. And then I started to see my family members, like I've had to go and pick my daughter up from school today on the 3-3 because she is just like, Mom, there's just so much change. She's 15, she's very connected, but she's very overwhelmed. So much change, so much happening in her life that she doesn't know how to cope with it. So she's locking onto the loss as well. So I could go on with a whole list of things, but like it's all about grief. And then guilt, because guilt is an emotion of the past, even to do with my friend passing, should have done more, should have been there more, should have. I mean, it's all ego conversation, but nonetheless, it's a human conversation that needs to be had because we need to give it the airtime and love and compassion. So those feelings and emotions can come back home, right? So it's not going to help me to sit there and go, well, I should know better. I'm a spiritual being. You know what I mean? Suck it up, Marie. Stop crying. Stop being in your humanness. But the human experience is what we came here for. So if I'm going to push that away, I'm not going to come into union with anything because I'm going to go, well, that can't happen, but this can come in. Everything's got to come in. So just to kind of like bring it all together, there is so much grief happening on a very, very deep subconscious level, but then now it's exploding on a deep conscious level. And going back to the 22 portal, that was, even though we had this expansion, that is the separation. That's what's happened. We've gone bink, and now it's like, wow, we're not being asked to let go of everything. We have let go of everything. That's exactly what's happened. It's gone. And we're like, shit, what's going on? And we've got like all of this grief and these confusing emotions coming up. I was so confused in this grief because I was like, what's going on? Am I depressed? And am I sad? What are these emotions? And there was even confusion in there. So the grief process, as we know, is not something that you can clear through energy work. It's not something that you can speed up. It needs to be deeply, deeply honored, okay, and deeply nurtured, and you need to be deeply held because you can't speed that process up. So it's almost like you're in ceremony right now, allowing the space for this humanness just to come in, level up and come online, and that you cannot speed up. So I actually said to somebody yesterday, I'm actually going to enjoy my grief process, not meaning that I'm wrapped up in my victimhood, not meaning that like, oh God, the drama, the story. I'm actually going to immerse myself and give it the respect and the space and the honor that it needs, because to understand what's really going on, because you are grieving lifetimes. In fact, where I sit right now, because I backtracked it all the way, I'm sat in Atlantis from when Atlantis fell. So my grief goes all the way back there. And many of us, if not all of us, our grief does sit back where the golden age fell. And now we're in a timeline where the golden age is activated and it's come online again. So these 2 points have met, okay? So we've basically got all that trauma from when it fell, all the trauma in between that up to now, and it's grieving and letting all of that old timeline go. And it's a bit like the Titanic. It's sinking fast. Let it sink. And you're going to feel like this, almost like a water and immersion coming around it to cleanse and heal it. Do you know what I mean? But nonetheless, we have to go through our humanness and cut the cords with this old paradigm, because it's almost like you pulled a bit of sticky tape off and you pulled it right off, and it's like, yeah, it takes a bit of elbow grease to do that. So we're peeling it off, Now, cutting cords, help yourself with this process. Now, I've actually I recorded a cutting cords, a new one, with Archangel Michael in the blue flame, a cutting cords meditation on my YouTube channel, and use that meditation. It's not long, but it's going to help you move through this process of just clearing, letting go, clearing your energy field and clearing your space physically, mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Okay, so use that meditation, reach out to Archangel Michael and activate your blue flame frequency. It will explain it all in the guided meditation. It will help you clean and clear and organize, because that's what's happening now. We're getting ourselves in order now. Do you know what I mean? So many people are awakening. I mean, like so many. And they're not just taking years like I did to connect with their gifts. They're literally waking up and going, oh, hey, I can talk to the angels. Shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like happening. What's going on? So there's like these mass awakenings. Do you know what I mean? And it's happened like that. Why? Because the old paradigm's fallen away. The belief, like the cords are being cut, or they're being cut. Now you're like, wow, okay, so there's only this, which is like the new paradigm, and just like shit, the future is golden. The timeline is golden. Yes. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what's going down right now. And so be with your grief process. Take your time to allow that to move through, because you can't speed it up. And if you do, you're going to be kept in the same spot, and you're just going to vibrate in that trauma. So just allow. And I did a channeled meditation today, and it was interesting because Anna, grandmother of Jesus, came in, who I haven't actually connected with her for a while, but she came in. And then Joseph Arimathea always sits on my left shoulder. He came in. Then Toth sits on my right. And then the Magdalens. I was surrounded by the Magdalens. And I was like, okay, this is wonderful and beautiful and amazing. But why are you here? And there was 2 reasons why they were here. And I've gone very dizzy as I say that, which means they've just come back in. So the reason they are here is to bring the message forth that they are surrounding each and every one of us right now in this timeline of grief, this timeline of letting go, to kind of help you with safe, comfortable, soft passage to the next level. And they are here to really bring the message home to you about compassion. I am compassion, I am. And if you say that all day, every day, beautiful prayer. I am compassion, I am. I am love, I am. It will soften your energy field. It will slow it right down. And they will be right there in that energy and that vibe when you come and bring that in. Magdalene's are there. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, is there. So they're here holding us all in this process, which doesn't have to be like fireworks and full on. It needs to be soft and gentle. And they're here to help each and every one of us. And now Anna, who brings the message of divine love, but she also brings the message of the divine plan. Okay, so for me, Anna she's always shows me, like, she turns up when it's my twin flame frequency, but she also comes when she is here to help me with the divine plan. And as much as we're going through this grief process and stuff's kind of falling away, there is also like another side of it where it's like now, month of March and beyond, you're going to start to see things really coming online and being showing themselves in physical form. So if you've been working on a body of work that you've energetically been in and it's not landed yet, it's going to land now. So she was ultimate in the divine plan because she was the first being that received the seed so she could birth Mother Mary, which I believe was her 12th child. So Mother Mary could then go on and birth Jesus. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like that was a major divine plan. So when she turns up, it's like, right, okay, this next level in the paradigm, we are now part of that divine plan. Each and every one of us has something to bring to the table. And it's no more about our trauma. It's about what wonderful gifts can we bring through from our hearts, not our head. Old paradigm, new paradigm. So that is why Joseph Arimathea, her son. Yes, I was getting mixed up. Sorry, Joseph. So no, it's actually her son because he is Joseph's uncle. Details. But anyway, Joseph is here. And he is bringing forth the support that each and every one of us needs on a logistical point of view to land our divine blueprints and our divine missions into this new paradigm. So he's here as well. So that's why he's here. And yeah, Anubis just walks around, just, circles me and protects us. So there's a whole thing going on. So I just wanted to share with you what came through today and why they're here. So they're very, very powerful. And so they're giving 2 messages of love, compassion, and just allow the process to unfold. You're held, you're supported, you're loved. And then the other thing is equally so, this is now the time where things are going to come into spiritual action, and they're here to help us land that. So that's a very exciting thing as well, because we are part of the divine plan. Now, just to share with you 3 cards from my my Egyptian deck. So the first card that I pulled is Sacred Relationship. And if you look on here, we have let's say Khonsu. Sorry, not Khonsu. I haven't got my glasses on. Khnum, Sobek, Horus, Sekhmet, and the Sphinx. So they're all there. Okay. So now Khnum is basically a creator god. He creates us on the potter's wheel. Okay. So basically he puts us on the potter's wheel, and he's all about grounding, because he kind of like creates the physical vessel. I mean, he does many, many things, but he's the one you connect into when it comes to creation. And he is also a god of the Nile, so water as well, And then on here, obviously, we have Horus, we have Sobek. Sobek is also a river god as well. And they're all there. Sekhmet, fierce, It's all about just stepping forward now and working with your divine support, as above, so below, to like come together. We're all here now, you know what I mean? And this is what it's all about. And the Sphinx is an earth altar. So the Sphinx kind of like is cosmic truth. It's cosmic download. It's like, for me, the Sphinx brings all the energy of the stars into the earth, because the Sphinx is an earth altar. So we've got all of this, and it's now coming through you, because I suppose you could equate yourself to the Sphinx. You're the physical representation of this, and you're on Khnum's potter's wheel, and he's molding you and he's changing you, and anything you don't want, get rid of. But it's all being divinely created, and that's where we're at as the old paradigm falls away. So then we have Anubis, which is the second card. Okay, so Anubis, he's a medicine man. He's they call him the god of death, but I don't really go that far. Do you know what I mean? Be a bit nicer about that. But he's definitely about the afterlife and the underworld. He is a shaman, and he is a great protector. He's an opener of the way. He will basically show you, if you've deviated from your path, how to get back on it again. So Anubis is all about death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth the whole way, because he's the one that will take you to go and meet Osiris, which is the afterlife. So Anubis is here holding space for each and every one of us as we come out of the darkness into the light, okay? Or how we go through this transitional period of death and rebirth, as I say. And then we have the tree of life, okay? So here we have Bast, we have Anubis, and we have Osiris, okay? So this is all about, what are you dying to let go of so you can be reborn? What are you dying to birth? I don't know whether you can see there, but if you see in there really closely, that's where Osiris is. He's in the water, okay, which signifies the afterlife. But the water is all about, as we know, emotions, cleansing, purity, And Anubis, I don't know whether you can see, is hanging upside down, because he's basically waiting to kind of like, it's anticipation, going in to go and meet with us, Osiris, and go to that next level of being reborn. You know what I mean? So he's about to go through the death process, if not already, but he's ready to be reborn. So all of these cards speak about death and rebirth, and they speak about like recreating and next level stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. And so like I say, this is a moment, a transitionary period that is really, really powerful. And when we awaken and arise and get reborn from this moment in time, then it's going to be extremely different. I'm feeling it. Yesterday I was starting to feel like, oh wow, okay, things are happening. Things are really, really happening. So this is a very long video blog, but I think it needed to be today. So and just on that, for those peeps that are in Cape Town, okay, on the 12th of March, I'm holding ceremony here. Go onto the Instagram feed and actually see what it's all about. Sekhmet activations, connecting you with your starseed brothers and sisters and your Lyrans and everything like that, your Lyrans, starseed family. And it's all about, stepping in from fear into courage now. And, working with the lion energy, coming away from expanding into the cat frequency and coming into, being a master of your emotions to basically be reborn. That's what all of the ceremony energy is all about. So the 12th of March, I will ping the details if you're watching this on YouTube. But anyway, I am going to sign off now, because there's an awful lot in this, and this is huge. Today, 3-3, this is huge. This is absolutely massive. So be gentle with yourself. Be very, very gentle with yourself. Allow the process to unfold as it should, but also be mindful that you are coming into the new physical form now, which is very exciting, because we're just step off Khonsu's pottery wheel. So yay us. Lots of love. Peace.